Thank you very much, Phoenix. We love to be back. We'll be back a lot. We're going to win that election. Thank you very much. Hello, Phoenix. It's great being here in the great state of Arizona with thousands of hard-working patriots who believe in God, family, and country. Thank you. Thank you. And with your help this November, we are going to defeat the radical socialist Democrats, and we are going to win Arizona in a landslide. It's all over TV that the folks here tonight have helped a great World War II veteran into the arena. I don't know if he knows it, but he's right now the hottest celebrity in the world. I don't know what's going on here. He might even be hotter than Trump right now, I have to say. Did you see the scene? No, he's all over television. Even fake news CNN had him on. But they say he's a legitimate great hero of World War II, Irvin Julian. Irvin, thank you. And I asked my son Don to get a couple of hats and get some things and give them to Irwin right now. And I want to thank you. Really, that's a great honor. And thank you for the great job you've done. An American patriot. Thank you very much. Thank you, Don. How did Don do tonight, okay? He's good guy, and he loves this country. So, this is truly an incredible time for America. We have the best economy, the most prosperous country that we've ever had, and the most powerful military anywhere in the world by far. It's my, you remember the good time we had a week ago at the State of the Union? You remember that, right? State of the Union. And that was my honor, but I proudly declared that we are in the midst of the great American comeback. Our country is stronger today than ever before. And after 3 years of very unfair and ridiculous witch hunts and partisan Democrat crusades, it was the radical left's pathetic attempts to nullify your ballots, poison our democracy, and overthrow our entire system of government. But guess what? They failed, and our poll numbers are higher today than they've ever been before. And we're standing up to the defense of our Constitution, our freedom, and democracy itself. We're doing something that's never been done in the history of our country. This movement has never taken place, nothing like it ever, and the fake news can attest to it, because if they thought I was saying the wrong thing, it'd be out there immediately. Be all over the place. It'd be all over the place. Trump exaggerates. That's terrible what he says. There has never been a movement like this, and it began very early. It began in 2016 with that wonderful, beautiful night. You remember that, right? That beautiful night in November. And we're going to have another beautiful night in November, and this time it's going to be November 3rd. Get ready, November 3rd. We're coming. We're coming. So we're having great polls. You're seeing the polls, except for some of the fake ones. And if I was treated fairly, meaning if you were treated fairly by the fake news, we'd be up 20 points higher in the polls. There wouldn't even be a competitive election. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be competitive, but I actually think we're going to win by a lot, just like we did last time. But I really believe we'd be up 20 points. I mean, all they do is negative, phony stuff. Russia, Russia, Russia. The impeachment hoax. That's a hoax. But you know, we had great support from the Republican Party. In the House, it was 197 to nothing. And in the Senate, it was 52 and a half to a half. You know what the half was? A half-wit. And while the extreme left has been wasting America's time with the hoaxes, we've been killing terrorists, creating jobs, raising wages, enacting fair trade deals, securing our border, and lifting up citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed. And by the way, they turned away 21,000 people outside, so feel very good. Feel very good. We haven't had an empty seat. You know what? We haven't had an empty seat. And this is a tribute to all of us, because this is a movement like nobody's ever seen. But we haven't had an empty seat since your great, and this is a great First Lady, came down the escalator with me in Trump Tower a long time ago. We haven't had an empty seat. From our rural communities to our inner cities, we're expanding the blessings of America to all of our citizens. We added another 225,000 new jobs last month alone. You saw that, the geniuses, you saw that. You saw that last month. They were doing predictions on one of the shows. What do you think? Well, I think 60,000. What do you think? I think 100,000. What do you think? I think 84,000. These are the ones that tell you all about how to invest. What do you think? And then they came out, 225,000, the market goes up again. 225,000. 225,000. So many manufacturing jobs, so many that frankly were never going to come back. Remember, you need a magic wand, right? They came back. And remember this, we're paying interest. The past administration didn't pay interest. They pumped money in like it was candy. And we didn't pump money in, we took money out. Not that I was happy about that, because I disagree with it, because frankly, if we kept the old practice, which frankly some people can dispute one way or the other, we would have been up, in my opinion, another 10,000 points in the Dow, and we've set 144 records on the stock market in 3 years, 144 records. 144 records, record stock market. And you know what that means? That's your 401ks are up 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%. No, guys come up to me, said, Mr. President, I just want to thank you. My wife used to look at me like I was a total loser, sir. Every year we lost money for years and years. She said, what the hell is wrong with you, Henry? And this year, sir, I'm up 92%. She loves me again. She thinks I'm a genius. 92% 401k. She thinks I'm a genius, sir. She loves me again. Shows what money can do, right? But that makes, and think of this, 7 million new jobs since we were elected. We were elected. And when I took over, ISIS was all over the place. And we immediately started. We have destroyed 100% of the ISIS caliphate. We have killed the founder and leader of ISIS. Al-Baghdadi is dead. And we just took out the world's top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani, ending his evil reign of terror forever. And the fake news doesn't want to tell you that. They don't want to tell you that. They don't want to tell you. In fact, you remember the dog, great dog Conan? When we took out, right? We love Conan. Conan's a tough dog. But when we took out al-Baghdadi, Conan, remember this? Conan got more publicity than President Trump. That's okay. They were looking for al-Baghdadi for 16 years. We found him and we took him out. And last week, we killed another one last week, the head of Al-Qaeda. He was gone, dead. And America is respected again, respected like never before. We're respected again. We're no longer the laughingstock that gets taken advantage by every country, including, by the way, our allies, who in many cases take a bigger advantage than our enemies. I will tell you that. They take big advantage, but not so much anymore. We're winning. We're winning like never before. Washington Democrats keep on losing their minds. They hate the fact that we're winning. We're winning big. We're winning, winning, winning. And that is why millions of registered Democrat voters are leaving their party to join our movement. They're joining our great Republican Party in droves. You see it all the time. I just spoke to some of your leaders. He said, this is unbelievable what's happening. This is unbelievable. You know, there have never been rallies like that. Sleepy Joe Biden the other day had 68 people. And now they have a new member of the crew, Mini Mike. Mini Mike. No boxes. We call them no boxes. And I hear he's getting pounded tonight. You know he's in a debate. I hear they're pounding him. He spent $500 million so far, and I think he has 15 points. It just came out. Hey, fake news, how many points does he have right now, 15? They won't tell you the truth. They won't tell you the truth. MSDNC. MSDNC is worse than CNN. They're owned by a company called Comcast. You can have Comcast, a bunch of phonies but MSDNC is worse than CNN, and they're all pretty bad. No, they just came out with a poll. They just came out with a poll a little while ago. Mini Mike was at 15, and Crazy Bernie was at 31. That's a lot. And Mini Mike just spent $500 million. But the DNC is going to take it away from Bernie again, and that's okay, because we don't care who the hell it is. We're going to win. We're going to win. We have to. Let me tell you, these crooked politicians, they really took away 3 years from us, because despite the fact, and nobody disputes it, that we've done more in 3 years with the tax cuts and regulation cuts and the military and the choice and everything. We've done more than any administration in history. We've done more, but think of it. Think of it. We did it with phony witch hunts. We did it with the impeachment hoax over our head the whole time. We did it under circumstances that should never, ever happen to another president again. True. But with your energy and enthusiasm this November, we're going to take back the House, we're going to hold the Senate, and we are going to keep the White House. So we're thrilled to be joined tonight by some of the best, greatest, I love them, leaders in America, Arizona leaders. I want to start, come on up here, Governor Doug Ducey. Come on up here, Doug. Come on up here. Also, I call them warriors because they fought like hell. They worked with our future Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. But we have some of your great warriors. Paul Gosar, come up here, Paul, come up here. Andy Biggs, head of the Freedom Caucus. Andy Biggs. David Schweikert, David, come up here. A big, big star. You know about that, Doug? She became this monster star. She looked with such indignation at the other side, such disgust. Debbie Lesko. He'll be running someday. You said your grandson. Wow. He'll be running someday. Arizona Senate President. You know who that is, right? Karen Fann. Come up, Karen. Arizona House Speaker Rusty Bowers. Vice President of the Navajo Nation, Myron Lizier. And Arizona Republican Party State Chair, Kelly Ward. Kelly Ward, come up. And we have a lot of other leaders, but we got to get back to speaking. Do me a favor before I introduce a very special guest. I'd like to ask your great governor. You know, he won like by 16 points. It wasn't even a contest. And I'm very competitive. I want to beat him. Will you please get out to the polls so we can beat him? But he's tough to beat. Doug Ducey, say a couple of words, please.
Mr. President, we are going to keep Arizona red in 2020. We are going to return President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence to the White House. We are going to return Martha McSally to the United States Senate. And we are going to keep our Republican majorities in our congressional delegation and our state chambers. Mr. President, thank you for what you have done for the cause of life. For what you have done for our economy and reducing regulations, and for what you have done for the United States Supreme Court. We're looking forward to working with you for 4 more years.
These are great people, great people. Thank you very much. So, you know, before I introduce somebody very important to all of us, to me, also I have to say with us tonight is a Arizona hockey great, a friend of mine. He's a great golfer, too. He's a tough golfer. I'll tell you, he's tough to beat. He's tough as hell. And if you beat him in golf, he'll try and beat you physically. He doesn't care. He was the toughest hockey player. You know, he was one of these guys, he could beat you one way, and if he couldn't, he just beat them up, right? He'd beat them up. And he's a friend of mine. He's a great guy, Jeremy Roenick. Where is he? Thank you, Jeremy. He's a winner. We're also joined by Donald Jr. and Kimberly, and they're great people. Great. And RNC co-chairman Tommy Hicks, and RNC finance chairman, also happens to own a team called the Chicago Cubs. I shouldn't tell you that. Todd Ricketts. Todd. So finally, it's my great honor to introduce a tremendous person, a great fighter pilot. A lot of people don't know that. She's a great fighter pilot. And a warrior Senate. She helped us so much during the impeachment hoax. She didn't wobble one bit. Martha McSally. You know, Martha's tough on the border. And she's working with me to strengthen our military still further and lower your prescription drug prices, and we're making a lot of progress. But her opponent, I have to say this, Martha, a guy named Mark Kelly. Even the Democrats don't like him much. He wants to raise your taxes, open your borders, give away free health care to illegal immigrants, and he wants to obliterate your Second Amendment. He wants to get rid of it. The radical liberal Democrats from California and Massachusetts, they're pouring money into Kelly's campaign because they know that he's a rubber stamp for crying Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck, and nervous Nancy Wacko Pelosi. And we're going to have a new speaker. But that's why Martha has my complete and total support and endorsement, and we have to all get out there and make sure that Martha McSally, she's a warrior. Let me tell you, you don't know, we don't know, people don't know people. This one is tough as hell, and that's what we need. Martha McSally.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome back to the great state of Arizona. Let's give it up. I just want to say I have a message for the liberal hack media in the back. Arizona is going to vote in November to keep America great and send President Trump back to the White House. And Mr. President, I want you to know I was right there on the floor in that amazing State of the Union address that you gave. It brought tears to my eyes at many places. You were honoring our veterans. You were reuniting families. It was extraordinary. But I heard your call. You said to put a bill on your desk that's going to lower prescription drug prices, and I'm going to introduce a bill next week to get that done, to help all Americans lower the cost of drugs. Arizona is on fire thanks to the leadership of President Trump with Governor Doug Ducey and the Republicans in the Senate and the House. People are living amazing. We are getting people off the sideline. The economy is doing so great. We have so much more to do, but there's so much at stake. My opponent said he would vote to convict and remove you from office and remove you from the 2020 ballot. What is that all about? And then he said last week that he would support Bernie Sanders if he's the nominee and his socialist agenda. So Arizona is tired of investigations. They're tired of obstruction. They don't want socialism. They love our freedoms. And Mark Kelly is flying on Bernie Sanders' wing, and I'm flying on your wing, President Trump, and we're going to win in November. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Well, and she's right. How about that Congressman Al Green? We can't beat him, so we have to impeach him. How about that? That's not what as they call them, the founders. How many times did you hear the name the founders? That's not what the founders had in mind. But we're going to have a big, big election victory. We're working together. I don't think the Republican Party has ever been more unified than it is right now. I really don't believe so. So whatever you can do for Martha, we need her. She's been so incredible. Thank you very much, and thank you for everything, Martha. Appreciate it. Thank you. Together, we're building the world's most prosperous economy and the most inclusive society anywhere. We're inclusive. J. Trump. Did you ever hear of him? In only 3 years, including regulation cuts and tax cuts, because the other ones raised taxes, we cut taxes by the record amount, it went to $10,000 per family. A record, a record. That's why our consumer right now, our people, they're booming with cash. And that's one of the reasons our economy is doing so much better. China had the worst year in the last 67 years. Asia's doing poorly. Europe is doing poorly. The United States is doing great. We're doing the best we've ever done. The best we've ever done. To lift up forgotten communities that need investment, and these are really communities that need it the most. We created opportunity zones. We worked with Tim Scott, the great senator from South Carolina. His idea, he came in and saw me. I said, let's give it a shot. You know, nothing's worked for the years, but this has really worked. And now jobs and investment are now pouring into 168 newly designated opportunity zones right here in Arizona alone. From Apache to Navajo and Maricopa counties. We're supporting working families by finding paid. We are doing a job with paid family leave. We're doing something that nobody's ever done to this extent, reducing the cost of child care and giving 40 million American families an average of $2,200 in their pocket, thanks to the Republican child tax credit. Our historic regulatory reduction campaign is restoring American liberty and cutting through job-killing red tape like nobody has ever cut regulations before. We ended the war on American energy, lowering utility bills, reducing prices at the pump, and eliminating our reliance on hostile foreign suppliers. For the first time, America is now energy independent. Such beautiful words. Energy independent. We fought wars. We did everything we could. We used to take the straits and everybody else benefited. We'd keep them clear so that other countries could take oil from the Middle East. Nobody paid us. Now they're starting to pay us a lot of money, folks. They took advantage of us. But we have everything we need right now. We have made such progress in the last 3 years with pipelines. The Keystone Pipeline, Keystone XL, I approved it. The Dakota Access Pipeline, I approved it. 48,000 jobs. We're reversing decades of calamitous trade policies, the worst trade deals any human being has ever seen. I say, who made these deals? The worst, stupidest deals I've ever seen. They were good for other nations. If you like other nations, that's great. But we're now putting America first. It's very simple. For years, Washington politicians took money from lobbyists, global corporations, and really the most corrupt special interests anybody's ever seen, to ship our jobs and our factories to other countries. We lost our taxes, we lost our workers, we lost our companies, and we did nothing about it. Now, we've done a lot about it because companies are pouring back in. America lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs following the twin disasters of NAFTA, the worst deal ever made, worst trade deal ever made, and one that was almost as bad and gave China an entrance into being a rocket ship when they entered the World Trade, WTO, one of the worst deals that we participated in. By the way, we just won $7.5 billion in a lawsuit with WTO. We weren't winning anything. We weren't winning anything, but they said, I think this guy's going to pull out. They treated us so unfairly. We were always in the minority position. I mean, who the hell negotiated these deals? But they look at us and they say, look, if we're not treated fairly, we're gone. All of a sudden, we're winning all these cases, but we just won. $7.5 billion. $7.5 billion. Did you know, Doug? $7.5 billion. But under this administration, thrown in your face at a supermarket. It was like a thing. It just like flew away. There was nothing. And now it's doing very well. But you know what? Someday we won't be here. And when we're not, those papers are in big trouble. But this thing was a dead newspaper. But I was watching, and they had an article this weekend about people that spent their own money and how they're doing. And they have, Mini Mike has spent $411 million. And it's a question mark. How's he going to, I tell you how he's going to do. He's probably not going to get the Democratic nomination. That's how he's going to do. But Mini Mike, $411. Then they had this idiot Steyer. We call him Impeachment Steyer. How did that work out, Steyer? He's another beauty. The guy worked, he spent $210 million. He got 1/3 of 1% in Iowa. And in New Hampshire, he did much better. He got less than 3%. Guy's in there for like $250 million. How did it work out, Steyer? You jerk. I never even heard of him. I never even heard of him. I turn on every time for years. I'm turning on impeach him. They don't even know why. They never say why. They don't have any reason. Impeach the president. This guy spent a fortune on this stuff. So it worked out pretty good. But anyway, so then I go and I look. So it has Mini Mike, sorry, question marks. You know, I can give you the answer. Right now, they have to have question mark, right? Then they go down and they had other people. Some of them I like to have Ross Perot, who honestly, you know, it was a tough day for Bush when he joined campaign. Because Clinton didn't win. Ross Perot took away 19% of the votes. Didn't Clinton get 41 or 43%? So, you know, give me a break. But that's okay, whatever. But they had Ross Perot spent like $100 million, which is like probably double if you bring it up to today's dollars. And then they have different people. A friend of mine who ran, Steve Forbes, he ran twice, and he was in for a lot. And then they had Donald Trump. Now, this is your own money. So this is your own money. And I said I'd spend a lot of money on my primaries. We'll see how the hell we do. It's amazing. Once you win, money comes in like it comes in pretty fast. What's that all about? But so in the middle, they had Trump, and then they had 4 or 5 that were behind me. A lot of money spent. Loss, 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 loss. But in the middle, they have Donald Trump. And it didn't say 500 million, and it didn't say 250 like this Steyer guy. It didn't say, it said 70 million of my own money. I spent 70. And it said Donald Trump won the presidency of the United States. You know, my father would teach me, if you could spend less and win, that's better than spending a lot and winning. Crooked Hillary spent at least 3 times more than we did and lost. Crooked as hell. She's crooked as hell. We have a double-sided justice. It's very unfair what's going on. Very unfair, but let's see how it all works out, folks. Let's see how it all works out. I hope you're going to be happy. I hope you're going to be happy because there are a lot of dishonest slime balls out there. Dishonest scum. Dirty cops. A lot of dirty cops. And by the way, the FBI, those guys in that are incredible, but the ones on top, they were absolute scum. And what they were trying to do, if that happened to Obama or a Democrat, or especially a liberal Democrat, they'd be in jail for 50 years, and it would have taken place 2 years ago already. They spied on our campaign, remember that. And after they spied, we won. And then after we won, they tried to get us out of office. It's never happened before in the history of our country. And we can't let that happen. We can never, ever excuse it. We can never let them get away with that. Never let them get away with it. But we keep our promises and we work hard and our economy is great. And last month, we ended the NAFTA, look, you saw it, NAFTA catastrophe, and that's what it was. We ended that catastrophe. And again, I really ran because of NAFTA. I said, how stupid, all over the place in your state, but you go to New England, empty factories, empty buildings, still you have empty buildings. We lost so much. We lost 60,000 factories and plants. And I signed that brand new, beautiful U.S., Mexico, Canada agreement into law. And the USMCA is a gigantic victory for farmers and ranchers and manufacturers all across the great state of Arizona. And you know, by the way, for people with the small farms and small businesses, if you love your children, you can now leave your companies, you can leave your farm, you can leave your ranch to your children, and you don't have to pay, they don't pay a death tax, they don't pay an inheritance tax. It's a big deal. That's a big deal. So if you love your children, it's good. If you don't love your children, it doesn't matter. Don't leave it to them if you don't love. If your children are no good to you, don't give them anything. Let them go out and work like hell. Now, if you love, does anybody in this incredible audience, man, this is a big building. Does anybody not love their children? Anybody? Do I have a hand? Do I have a, there's a hand. You gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. So then you don't care about the tax, so don't worry about it. He says, no, I don't care about that. Well, that's good. You look like a nice guy, too. He's tough. You'd love to be his kid, wouldn't you? I also took the strongest ever action to confront China's massive theft of American jobs and our strategy work. Last month, we signed a groundbreaking trade agreement with China that will defend our workers, protect our intellectual property, and boost American exports. China will invest $250 billion a year into the United States and buy our products and create jobs. Nothing like that has ever happened before. After years of building up other countries, we are finally rebuilding our country. That's the way we want it. We are finally putting our country first. We are putting America first. On no issue have Washington Democrats more thoroughly sold out the American people than immigration. You know it almost better than anybody. Anybody, Doug? You know it better than anybody what they've done in your border, but we're stopping that border. That border is clogged, and we've started the big wall right in Arizona. We built a lot of wall. That's a big one. That's a big one, top of the line. Before I came into office, the far left's policy of open borders allowed deadly drugs to flow freely into our country, poisoning our children, including, as you know very well, right here in Arizona. Washington Democrats put the needs of illegal immigrants before the well-being of American citizens. They want to let anyone from around the world simply walk across the border, and then they want to give them a lifetime of free welfare, health care, everything. They want to give them everything. Period of time, they were treated, and you know this, before I came, they were treated far better than our veterans were treated. Now our veterans are treated great. True. Illegal immigration costs Arizona taxpayers more than $2 billion every year. $2 billion you're paying. Nearly 20% of Arizona's annual budget in general funds goes toward this big problem. For the amount of money Washington Democrats want to spend supporting illegal immigrants, we could rebuild our cities all throughout America, which is what we should be doing. Under my administration, we are finally taking care of our own citizens. Including millions and millions of legal immigrants who follow our laws, pay their taxes, and are entitled to a government that protects their families and their communities. Every day, Democrats' open borders policies are harming and killing innocent lives. In Arizona alone last year, ICE officers arrested over 4,500 criminal aliens charged or convicted of dangerous offenses, including robbery, rape, and murder. Right here in Phoenix, an illegal alien chased a man through a parking lot and shot him in cold blood, then walked over to the victim and shot him 4 more times right in the face as he lay dying in this. Had previously been deported after serving 6 years in prison. And, you know, he was in prison 6 years. He was there 6 years, and nobody wants to talk about it. They want to protect him. Last year, illegal alien young woman. Yet left-wing politicians oppose all detention of illegal aliens, even convicted criminals, and they support deadly sanctuary cities that release these criminal aliens directly into America's communities. Thankfully, Arizona has banned sanctuary cities, and with a Republican majority in Congress, we will ban them in every state in America. And I'll tell you, in California, I just left California. I started off with a speech in Nevada at 7:30 in the morning. I then went to California, made 2 speeches. I then went someplace else. I said, am I finished? No, you got to go to Arizona tonight and speak in front of 25,000 people. And I said, that's okay. That's okay. I said, that's okay. No, I said, that's okay, because I love this unbelievable energy in this crowd. But you know what, honestly, there's tremendous energy in our nation. There's tremendous energy in our nation. Greatest nation in the world. Thanks to our tireless efforts to secure the border, we have reduced illegal border crossings for 8 straight months in a row, which will soon be a record. Illegal crossings are down 75% since last spring. The month of January saw the fewest illegal border crossings in 2 years, and we've ended catch and release, a horrible Democrat policy that we got terminated. Border Patrol, great people, have seized the largest amount of deadly narcotics ever recorded in the history of our country this year. And we've deported record numbers of gang members, including the worst gang of all, MS-13. Thousands and thousands of people have been thrown the hell out of our country. And we've done more to secure the border than any administration in history. We're building the wall, as I said, faster than ever, and it will soon be almost 1 new mile a day. We're looking for that. Washington Democrats have never been more extreme, taking cues from crazy Bernie Sanders. How's he doing tonight? 132 congressional Democrats have signed up for Bernie's healthcare takeover of the world. Think of this. 180 million Americans are going to lose healthcare coverage under this plan. But if you don't mind, I'm not going to criticize it tonight. Let them keep going, and I'll start talking about it about 2 weeks out from the election, okay? Because I don't want them to change. Please don't change. Same with the Green New Deal. I don't want to talk about it, Doug, tonight. I don't want to talk about it. You know, I came up with the name Pocahontas too early. But fortunately, she's self-destructed anyway. Did you ever see a phony like that? She's a phony. She lost because she couldn't keep it straight on her own heritage. She said she was an Indian. I said, I have more Indian blood in me than you have, and I have none. She said, oh, and she panicked. She panicked, and she had a test. You know the result. 124th. I think I win the bet. Somewhere along the line, I think I win. No, I did it too early. I would have saved it, but I guess it was effective. She's essentially gonzo, so one of those things. While the Socialist Democrats are trying to destroy American health care and your Social Security, my administration is protecting your Social Security, your Medicare, and is fighting to give you great health care, and that's what we're getting. That's right. One of the big secrets. The Democrats won't let us say it. They want to keep that as quiet as possible. Look what they gave you, the worst health care. And what we've done, we've gotten rid of things that nobody could believe that was so bad for you. Everybody was happy. We're defending your right to keep your doctor and plan of your choice. We're making health care better and much, much cheaper. While premiums more than doubled in the last 5 years before I took office, we are now offering plans that are up to 60% less expensive than they were. And it's better health care. A lot of people don't know this. People don't know this. They think that's their issue. It's not. They failed on health care. We're protecting people with pre-existing conditions, and we always will. And by the way, we're trying to get rid of Obamacare, but we're managing it incredibly. But we're trying to get rid so we can give you a great health care plan and protect pre-existing conditions. Remember that. We're trying to get rid of it. But while we're having it, we're managing it really much better than they did. Remember, they built the $5 billion website. Remember that? It was supposed to cost $5 million. It cost $5 billion. $5 billion. I mean, you could get a kid out of high school. I have a son. He's a young boy, 13. He uses a computer. He could have given them a health care site. I would say he would have charged them $100, Barron Trump. And it would have worked. He's so good. Hi, Dad. How you doing, Dad? How's it going? Bing, bong. I said, don't play with that while you're talking to me. Well, what's going on, Dad? These kids, you know, are incredible, all right? The kids, they make us look like babies with that, but he could have given you a great site for about $2. They spent $5 billion on a site that never worked. And by the way, speaking of that, how did they do with their vote count in Iowa? And I hear, I don't want to say it, I don't want to jinx them because, of course, I want them to do well, but I do. You know, we don't have anything. Nobody's running against us in so many states. It's just sort of nice. We can save the thunder, right? But, you know, I hear that in Nevada, I'm hearing bad things about their vote count. I hear a lot of bad things are happening, like they don't know what the hell they're doing. You know, I turned on the other night, Iowa. I wanted to see. And by the way, we set a record in the history of Iowa. We had more votes than anybody's ever had as an incumbent president. Same thing in New Hampshire. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. By a lot. By the way, by a lot. But I'm hearing that, and I hope this isn't the case, because, you know, I like to find out who the hell won. We still don't know who won in Iowa. I heard coming over here, they're still working on the count. No. Though he said, you won. Yeah, I think we did win. I think we did. Very good. That's very good. I'll have to think of that one. That's very good. No, we did win. Look, we are winning. We're winning big. We have fake polls out there. These guys do fake polls. They're fake polls. In 2016, I'd hear these polls. I'd hear women didn't like me, and I did great with women. I hear everyone didn't like me. Nobody liked me. Nobody liked me. And then we won. Thank you, women. Nobody liked me. 2016. No, I hear that, you know, remember, women didn't like, and then at the end of it, he did great with women. He did great with this. He did great with everybody. We did great with everybody. Remember, 306 to 223. That's a slaughter. That's a slaughter. Remember they said he cannot get, they used the word path. There is no path, right, to 270. I was at 269 if I did great, but they said there's no chance. But I was at 269. So I went to Maine. I love Maine. I went to Maine. Maine's cut in half, and one Maine has won. I went there 4 or 5 times. People are great. I won it. And they were right. There is no path to 270, but there was a path to 306. These people. There is no path. That's right, Doug. They said there is no path. The fake news media. There is no path for Donald Trump. And then they said the evening of the election, it's going to be a really short night for Donald Trump. Thank God. We got rid of this guy because they did the exit polls going out, right? And I was even told. But a lot of people didn't want to talk about it. The highest number in history of people that said very nasty language, and I'm not going to use that name because they'll kill me if I use it, so I won't use it. It's a much better story if I use it because that's the truth. That's what they said. How did you vote? Usually they say, I voted for Clinton or I voted for Trump, right? How'd you vote? None of your business. See, I'm being nice, right? I'll keep it that way because otherwise we'll ruin the whole evening. It's like his language is right. Even this tough guy in the front says, I agree. How did you vote? I don't want to tell you. How did you vote? None of your damn business. I'm not going to tell you. How did you vote? I'm not. And it was like this massive number, right? Massive. So everybody, they just didn't count that. So they said, numbers are looking unbelievably well for crooked Hillary Clinton. They're looking unbelievable. This is going to be a very short evening for Donald Trump. We finally will be rid of this guy. And then the numbers started coming in. The numbers started coming in. And it started with the great state of Florida. Donald Trump has won the state of Florida. And then that beautiful convention center, the most beautiful stage I've ever seen. And they knew something was going on because they didn't pay the final payment for the fireworks 2 weeks before, right? In fact, I went to the fireworks company and I said, I'll give you 5 cents on the dollar for your fireworks. That's right. Even though they were nowhere near where my area was, we were at a hotel in Midtown. We liked the location better than where she chose. But they built the most. We remember that beautiful stage. It was shaped like the United States of America. And by the end, it didn't look too good. Did you ever see more unhappy people, right? So they go, Donald Trump has won the great state of Florida. They go, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, they outspent me like 5-1. Only negative ads. You know, they were all negative. So by the time people got into the voters' booth, they only knew one thing. She hated Donald Trump. But they said, what the hell does she stand for? What does she do? Every ad was a negative ad. So it tells you negative ads, at least against me, aren't so good. They can be effective, but I think they spent like $2 billion on negative ads. Everything was negative. So nobody knew what the hell she spent. You know, her husband said she was going to lose. Her husband's a professional. Her husband said, you know, you better go to Michigan. Because I was there, and they had a Trump-Pence sign on every lawn I've never seen. And you better go to Wisconsin, Hillary. You better go to Wisconsin. She said, no, we haven't lost Wisconsin in 36 years. No, Hillary, you got to go there. I'm telling you, I don't like what I said. No, what do you know? You know, he's a professional politician. She wasn't. It's one of those little problems in life. So then it came in. And then we won South Carolina. We won North Carolina, right? And we were leading Pennsylvania by so much that if I lost, remember, 2% of the vote left. If I lost every single vote, I win by a lot. They refused, the fake news refused to call it. I kept saying, we won Pennsylvania, why don't they call it? It was very late in the evening when they called it because they're fake, they're crooked, they're fake. And I said, why don't they call Pennsylvania? But some beautiful things happened. And by the way, Ohio, we won by one of the largest margins ever. The great, great, great state of Ohio. Remember they used to say a year before the election, they said, well, nobody can win. Nobody, unless you win the great state of Ohio. And we won the great state of Ohio, and we won it big, and we knew we were going to win it, and now we're up a lot more than we were up even then. Because you know why? We're bringing back jobs, we're bringing back factories, everybody's working. Nobody's ever had a better year than we've been having, and we've been doing it for a long time, right, almost from the beginning. And don't let them try and take credit, because if they came in, we would have ended up in a massive recession, or worse, the D word, depression. We would have ended, because they were going to put more and more and more regulations on. And I'll tell you, maybe bigger than even the tax cuts, and I did it sooner, were the regulation cuts. We freed up our nation to go back to work. So then we won Wisconsin. And then we won Michigan, because those companies, and now they're pouring back in, the auto companies are pouring back in, and Wisconsin's doing great with the farmers, and Canada was taking it. You know, Canada was charging our farmers 287% tariffs for dairy products, okay? So what happens is this: we're working on health care. We're fighting to stop surprise medical billing. I just signed an executive order imposing price transparency, because when providers are required to show their prices, those same prices fall very fast. We've approved a record number of affordable new generic drugs, which are just as good as the brand drugs, but they cost a tiny fraction. We've totally transformed veterans' health care, including getting long-sought VA choice and VA accountability, which they said could not be done. And we passed the spectacular right to try. So if you're in trouble, and I hope nobody in this massive arena is in trouble, but if you're in trouble, you can go and get whatever the new drug or whatever there were. We're the best doctors, best hospitals, best labs. You get it. And the luck we are having, we are saving so many lives. It's incredible what's happening. People would go to Europe, they'd go to Asia. If they had no money, they'd go home and die. Now they have the right to use our drugs before they're approved. Think of that, before they're approved. And we're very importantly combating the opioid epidemic. Drug overdose deaths, the overdose deaths have declined for the first time in 34 years, and life expectancy is rising again in our nation. We've launched bold new initiatives combating kidney disease and Alzheimer's disease. We're making tremendous progress, and we're pursuing new advances in neonatal research. Think of that, neonatal research. The numbers are incredible. What's happened is incredible. To care for America's youngest patients and breaking all records in doing so. All of the radical Democrats in the presidential debates have declared their unlimited support for extreme late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb, right up until the very moment of birth. That is why in my State of the Union I asked Congress to prohibit late-term abortion of babies, because Republicans believe that every child is a sacred gift from God. The Democrat Party is the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, socialism, blatant corruption, and the total destruction of your Second Amendment. The Republican Party is the party of the American worker, the American family, the American dream, the Second Amendment, and the late, great Abraham Lincoln, right? Republicans are fighting for citizens from every background, every community, and every walk of life. We are the party of boundless optimism, excitement, energy, and enthusiasm. We have tremendous energy, tremendous energy. Everybody says to me, where do you get the energy? Because I love what we're doing. I see the results, and they're happening faster than you even think. You see the numbers. They're happening faster than you would even think. We are asking all Americans to join our incredible movement. We are the big tent. We are the big party. We are the party with big ideas for the future. Republicans are fighting for school choice, because no parent should ever be forced to send their child to a failing government school. To keep our America, right? To keep our community safer and give former prisoners a second chance at life. There's been nothing like this. I passed criminal justice reform, not the Democrats. I did it with the Republicans, and this could not have been done by anybody but me and the Republican Party. The Democrats did not do it. They could never have done it. To uphold the rule of law, we have confirmed 218 federal judges who will interpret the Constitution as written. And this is a record. And as you know, I have nominated and we have confirmed two great new Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. We have invested $2.2 trillion to rebuild the United States military, including nearly $200 million for Marine Corps Air Station Yuma. Right? I recognized Israel as the true capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. We recognize Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. They've been trying to get it for 52 years. And for years you watched as your politicians apologized for America. You saw that? They apologized. Now you have a president who is standing up for America, and we are standing up for the people of Arizona. At stake in our present battle is the survival of our nation. It is this election is so important. It's the survival of our nation. If you want your children to inherit the blessings that generations of Americans have fought and died for to secure, then we must devote everything we have toward victory in November of 2020. You're the forgotten people no more. You're no longer right? No deplorables, right? No deplorables. Who knew that was going to turn out to be such a disaster? But you know, she used the worst word. What was the word she used? Irredeemables, right? I thought that was the problem. No, it was deplorable. So what the hell do I know about politics? She said, you're irredeemable and deplorable. I said, oh, that irredeemable's terrible. The next day, people are showing up women. I'm a deplorable. Only this way can we save the America we love and drain the Washington swamp, which is vicious, horrible, ugly, and evil. Much worse than I thought, but we're getting there, and not pleasant. A bunch of really bad people, very dishonest people. With your help, we will lift millions more of our citizens from welfare to work, from dependence to independence, and from poverty to prosperity. Together, we will elect a Republican Congress to create a fair, safe, sane, and lawful system of immigration. We will continue to enact trade deals that result in more products proudly stamped with those beautiful, beautiful words and phrase. I love the phrase, made in the USA. Made in the USA. We will achieve new breakthroughs in science and medicine, finding new cures for childhood cancer, and ending the AIDS epidemic in America within now 9 years. We started a year ago. Can you imagine that? We're doing that, and it's going to happen. Who would have thought we could have done that? We will land the first woman on the moon and become the first nation in the world to plant our flag on Mars. We will defend privacy, free speech, and you know this, you know it's under siege, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. We will defend it. It's under siege. It's under siege. You see it in Virginia. They want to take away the guns. Above all, we will never stop fighting for the sacred values that bind us together as one beautiful America. We support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We stand with the incredible heroes of law enforcement. We believe in the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We believe that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the true American way. We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." From Tucson to Tombstone. Right? Do you agree, right? You agree, right? Look at him. He's agreeing. This guy, he's agreeing. No more censorship is right. No more evil, no more crimes. You're right. From Yuma to Mesa, and from Flagstaff to right here in Phoenix, we stand on the shoulders of red-blooded American patriots who poured their heart, sweat and soul to secure our liberty and to defend our freedom. Arizona was founded by pioneers and prospectors, great prospectors, cowboys and miners, and ranchers who tamed the wilderness, braved the blazing sun, and it is hot here. I've been here during the summer, I want to tell you. It's seriously hot. Of course, didn't they say that President Clinton, when he went on the back of the plane, was here to play golf? It was 121 degrees that day. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. What do you think he was doing with the Attorney General? Remember, he said, oh, I just happened to see. I was here to play golf. It was 120 degrees out. I don't know. A lot of crooked stuff went on. I wonder what they talked about. I'm sure it wasn't that she would become a Supreme Court justice. I'm sure it wasn't that they were going to extend her tenure as Attorney General. She was a real beauty. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it was nothing. They spent 45 minutes on the plane talking about golf and their grandchildren, right? Can't let it happen, folks. Can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. You fought the battles and helped make this the greatest nation ever to exist on the face of the earth, and we are making it greater every single day than ever before. Great, great, great citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and with your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. Do you like winning? Because, not very long ago you weren't winning. And I don't want you, I told this a few times during the campaign, haven't used it in a long time. But I don't want you going to your great governor. He's a great governor, Doug Ducey. I don't want you going to your governor saying, Governor, we just can't stand winning so much. Please go see the president in the Oval Office. Governor, the people of Arizona don't want to keep on winning. It's too much, Governor. It's not even fair to the rest of the planet. Please tell him, Governor Ducey, please tell him, President, the people of Arizona have won too much. We don't want to keep on winning. And I'll look at Doug Ducey, and I'll say, Doug, I have a lot of respect for you, Doug. You won by 16 points. That means a lot. But, Doug, I don't care what you say. We're going to keep on winning, and we're going to win like never before. And the people of Arizona are going to love it. And he's going to say, thank you, Mr. President. I'm going back home. The fact is, we are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. America is thriving like never before. And ladies and gentlemen of Arizona, the best is yet to come. Right? That's right. Together we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you.
Now you come to its gates, nation.